welcome back to another video. I'm doing a little bit different to usual. I went on holiday. At this point it's like 2 weeks ago now, so I'm doing this voiceover quite a bit after some of this art was made, so I'll try and cast my mind back as good as I can. So I was on holiday for a week. We went to a place called Hastings. The footage you're seeing right now was in a place called Dungeness. More about that in a second. Throughout this video I will make a few different pieces of art. I make 4 collages in total, and I do a few plein air sketching like you see now, and that's the overview of the video. So Dungeness, as you can see, it's very nice, but it was quite an odd place because it was, well, very flat. First off, flat with just loads and loads of fields full of wildflowers, and then the sea, and it was very picturesque. And then so it was picturesque on one side, and then there was just this massive nuclear power plant just right close to it. So you have all these lovely views with just this giant nuclear power plant. So it was quite an odd place. It felt like a place where a dystopian film would be set, but I mean, very pretty. So I just did a bit of sketching on the beach. I very rarely plein air sketch. In fact, I think I've probably done it like twice before this. I guess it always just intimidates me, and plus I did want to do a little bit more of it whilst I was out on holiday, but it was like it's a bit awkward to film it. So like I was on holiday with my parents, and I felt awkward like asking them to film me for like a prolonged amount of time, because obviously they don't want to stand and point a camera at me for ages. They have better things they want to do, but I managed to do a little bit of drawing. Here is a quick overview of everything I brought with me on holiday. I have this really useful Derwent carry case, so I just took a bunch of chopped up paper already cut, A5 and A6. It's like watercolour paper is what I collage onto because it's nice and thick. I have my Faber-Castell coloured pencils by Winsor & what are they called? The Caran d'Ache Neocolour crayons, some pencils to sketch with, paintbrushes because I did bring my watercolour set, which is Winsor & Newton watercolour, and then a few tiles for a project I was doing this week. Here's my watercolour set. It has a mixture of watercolours and wash. I use this just to add a little bit of details. I use this to add little details to my collaging if it needs it, just to do a bit of shading sometimes. Glue sticks, scissors, a ruler which I didn't end up using. And that's everything I brought with me, because while I was on holiday for a week, on the way back from holiday we were going through Cambridge, which is where my boyfriend is currently, well, he's just finished his exams. Well, not just, he finished his exams a few weeks ago. So I got dropped off at Cambridge on the way. So I'm now in Cambridge for a while, so I needed to bring enough art supplies to last me 3 weeks basically. Anyway, here is the garden of the cottage we were staying in Hastings. It was a very cute garden, and it inspired the collage you'll see me doing now. I could peek over to the neighbour's garden, and there was this shed filled with loads of like gardening tools, and yeah, it just really inspired me. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while anyway. I've been doing a lot of vegetable related collages recently, and whenever I'm looking at vegetable references, you can see like loads of gardening tools, trowels and other things, snippers, I don't know the names of anything really, gardening gloves. Anyway, and they've always kind of inspired me, so seeing them in the garden we were staying in, because there was loads of like gardening things scattered about, I was like, right, this is the sign to actually make this collage, because I wanted to make something which kind of matched the vegetable collage that I've been doing, which I'll pop up on screen so you have a reference of what I'm trying to make, like a matching set to. I've done 2 vegetable collages kind of similar to this style, with like a dark A6 with just a dark muddy background with just decorated with things on top. So a lot of these things were just inspired by Pinterest, I'm not gonna lie. I was just scrolling Pinterest to find some interesting looking watering cans, and I mean a lot of it was just kind of made up from my head as well, but the rake, no, I don't feel like that's the right name. The fork, the thing that looks like a giant fork, was directly inspired by what was kind of shoved into the grass in the garden we were staying in. So I will leave you with a little bit of music, and I'll come back in a little bit. water. If you can hear distant whirring and clicking, my boyfriend is just playing Warhammer, and it's quite loud on his laptop. His laptop sounds like it's about to take off. So if you can hear that, that's what it is. Here I am just adding some finishing touches onto the collage. I realised it needed a pop of colour, so I went in with some strawberries and then some apples, because it just matched the colour palette, and I thought they matched quite nicely. It was so cute doing the little seeds inside the apple like segments. Love doing those little details like that. This I did across the course of 2 days, and because like when we go on holiday we usually go out during the day, like from probably leave the house around 10, and then we'll go to a town, sit on a few benches, go in a cafe, look in a few shops, do a bit of sightseeing, and then come back around 5ish, 6ish. So after a day of like walking around, I'm really tired, so I don't really get to working until maybe like 7 o'clock. So I just have a few hours in the evening of making art, and I didn't make art every single day because like I was on holiday. I did want to relax a little bit, so I think for the first 4 days of the holiday I was like, right, pure relax mode, because leading up to the holiday I work all the time all the day, every day. So I was like, no, let's actually have a nice relaxing time this holiday. So for the first 4 days, I didn't do any art at all, and it was lovely. And then for the final, 3 days of the holiday, I did knuckle down in the evenings and do some collages. I did do plein air sketching earlier on in the holidays, but I quite enjoyed doing that. So that didn't really count as work. Anyway, here's the finished collage. I think it turned out pretty cute, pretty nice. Happy with that. Moving on. The following day, I don't know what day it was, one of the days, we went to a place called Eastbourne, which is another lovely seaside place. All the places are seaside places. All of them had like pebble beaches, which I really like to draw pebble beaches because I love the texture of drawing those little circles overlapping each other. I love that texture. This is the pier. I was a little bit intimidated to draw this one, so I didn't film the beginning bit because to be honest, I didn't really think it was going to turn out that great because it was just a really complicated structure to try and draw. And after I'd done the pier and I liked it, I was like, okay, you know what, let's get the camera out, let's record it. When I don't feel like a piece is going to turn out well, I really don't like recording it. So a lot of the time when my art, you'll only see like the second half of it being done, because that's usually when I get the confirmation that actually, you know what, this is turning out nice, I will record it. So I really enjoyed doing that sketch on the beach actually. And then I think I finished it off a little bit later on because it was getting it might look lovely and sunny, but it was very windy and the wind was a little bit cold. So I finished it off a little bit later on. I've just added a few extra details. I don't really think you can tell. Nothing really changed. I like this sketch so much that I came back to the cottage we were staying in and I decided to collage it. You might notice that this footage is quite... not the best footage. I was making do with what I had at the cottage. What I had was my phone, and I guess like the lighting I was using was the flash on my phone, and I just had like the big light on in the living room. So basically there was this little fold out table that I got from the kitchen, brought it into the living room and made a little makeshift art studio. So it wasn't the best, but it got the job done, and it meant I could have done it at the kitchen table, but that would have meant I felt a bit lonely. Sat on my own in the kitchen when my mum and dad were like watching TV in the living room, so I just thought I'd pull a table over and sit with them and make some art. So as for the pier, I even though the actual pier in real life, this is the pier in Eastbourne, has these like really beautiful like golden roofs. I did try doing gold roofs. Well, I don't have gold, but I like yellow, orange roofs, I suppose. But it just really didn't work, the colour palette, so I ended up just making them all blue. And I love how kind of faded and in the distance the pier looks. I was trying to, kind of create the illusion that it was far away, especially with how I was doing like the struts, the sticks, the column things that hold the wood that holds the pier up. I tried a bunch of different versions of this. Like I was trying to cut out loads of little thin strips of paper, but it was looking too harsh. I was trying to do it with a pencil, and that still looked too harsh. So what I ended up using was my little Caran d'Ache crayon, because that has quite a, I don't know, well, crayon texture to it, as one would suspect. And that, I don't know, I think it just gave it that really hazy distance in the background. This is the little art setup that I was working with, which I told you about. It's quite cute, but a little bit small. I made it work. And here's the finished collage. I absolutely love it. Added the birds to the sky and just a few like abstract shapes to the sky as well. Yeah, worked out well. Really pleased with this one. I wanted to quickly show off this new tripod that I got. It's the Moft Snap Invisible Phone Tripod Stand. I got emailed about it a while ago and immediately was like, this is the solution for me. I film quite a lot of my art using my phone because if I just want to quickly film something without setting up my camera, it's just super easy to get my phone out and film it. But what I used to do is I would prop my phone up in a jar of pencils, which can be quite fiddly at times and a bit annoying. So having a permanent tripod just stuck to the back of my phone is so handy. And well, actually it's not permanent, you can take it off. It's just a magnet which holds it on. The magnet is really strong as well, so it's not going anywhere, but it's not strong enough where you can't take it off. It's relatively easy to snap on and off. It's really satisfying as well to play around with the little tripod triangular flap thing, to just push that through. I play with that so much. And it's just a really handy tripod stand. So if you also film your art like me on your phone, you make reels, you make videos of your art, and you too shove your phone into a jar of pencils to stand it up, I really recommend this. I will link it in the description. Again, they've not told me to say anything, I've not been paid to do this, I just really love this product, and it's something which I'm really excited about and I've been using constantly since I've got it. I basically have it permanently stuck to the back of my phone as well, because I like to prop my phone up and watch things, and it also kind of makes my phone easier to hold. I'll kind of unfold it a little bit and stick my fingers kind of between it, and that's how I'll hold my phone, and it's just really handy. So I do recommend this if you're looking into getting a phone tripod.
The guy over there in your collage has put this and working on the balls.
Alright, so moving on to another day. This is in Hastings, and here I am doing a little bit more sketching on the beach. I think my mum was filming this clip. Peeking over my shoulder, you can see the shadow of my mum's hair just like blowing wild because it was just so windy this entire week. Trying to draw the boat that was in front of me. A little bit of a funny story about this boat. Sat there drawing it, and after about 10 minutes of drawing it, this massive tractor pulls up right in front of it, like directly in front of this boat. And it's like, come on, there's hundreds of boats on this beach right now. The one boat that I picked, a tractor was driven in front of. Luckily the tractor was only there for about 10 minutes and then eventually drove off, but it was a bit like, oh, come on now. The boat I ended up drawing, or the scale was way off. I think got distracted because I was trying to film it all and it was windy as well, so I was trying to hold the pages down on my book, and I was trying to be quick as well because I didn't want my parents sitting around for ages waiting for me to draw something. Yeah, so basically I ended up making the boat way too tall, but I guess it kind of looks cute how it's, I suppose I'll just say it's stylized, because obviously how I draw anyway is stylized. I'm not going for realism, I suppose. I'm just trying to make things look interesting with shapes and textures which aren't necessarily always there. But yeah, there's the boat. I finished it later on in the day, added a few extra details, just sat on a pier. And that was the sketching for that. You may notice the desk has changed. I have changed the location. I've now moved to my boyfriend's accommodation at uni because I got dropped off after the week in Hastings. I got dropped off at Cambridge where he lives because he just finished his exams, because it was on the way, I suppose, back home. So my parents dropped me off, and here I am working at his desk. So much better setup this time round because it's quite a big desk and I had good lighting as well, so it actually turned out all right. And I decided to go back and collage. I'll pop the picture up. It's a picture I took on the same beach where I was just drawing that boat. It's a different boat, but it's not too far away from the boat I was sketching, so it's a similar view in the background. And I think this is the favourite, this is my favourite collage I made in this whole video. Absolutely love it. I think all of the things I make in this video I probably will turn into prints. One of them will be the print for Patreon next month. I don't know when this video is going up. Will it be time? I think there might. I think I'll upload this video still in the month of June, so there might be a few days left to get yourself this month's print. I'll pop it up on screen. If you would like to receive this birdhouse collage, pledge to my Patreon Little Snips tier at any point before the end of June, and then the July's print, I'll probably pick something which I make in this video. I might pick the one I did at the start with all the tools, the gardening tools. I might pick that. I haven't decided yet, or either the pier one. I don't know. All of them will get made into prints at some point. One of them will be the Patreon print for next month. Time will tell which one I decide on. This collage came together pretty easily. Well, I mean, no collage is straightforward. There's always so much like swapping and changing and moving paper around. But I remember just having a lot of fun with this one, and I love anything where I can do kind of lots of cross-hatching square-like textures, and the fishing nets and I don't know what they call them, but it's like, when you go on a beach and, well, when you go to a harbour and you see those like boxes with loads of mesh on them, I think they catch like crabs. I just love the way they look and all the texture on them. So in the corner of this piece I tried to stick down a bunch of shapes to imply all those fishing nets and boxes, and I love those kind of things. And I drew this big like net on the sand in my blue crayon. I think it looked really cool. I love all the overlapping lines on the boat. I love adding line details to boats. Well, I just love collaging boats in general. You might have noticed I do a lot of beach themed prints because I always go on holiday to the beach, and obviously I'm inspired by what I see. Moving on, here I am now in a place called Rye. This was a very, very cute little village. Lots of cobbled streets, lots of cottages, loads of flowers. A little bit of a cloudy day, but it was still nice, still enjoyed it. And lots of like oldie worldy looking buildings. So for the collage, I was inspired by this picture I took, which was just down this little side street. I was drawn to this picture because of all the bricks, and the bricks look quite old, and I wanted to do a collage where I cut out all the individual bricks from a bunch of different like shades of paper and had them kind of overlapping, and because I've never really done that before. So I thought I'd give myself a little challenge of cutting out all these little fiddly bits. So I started by just putting down a big block colour of cream, and then I went in with my watercolours and just added in a few extra shadows just to kind of add variation to the colour, so it wasn't like all the same like super bright cream behind the bricks. And then just did the painstaking task, but I kind of enjoyed it. It's one of those things you can just kind of turn your brain off and stick down all these little rectangular bricks, trying not to make it too perfect, trying to make all the gaps between the bricks different sizes, making the bricks themselves some fat, some thin, some short, some tall, some small, and just trying to make it look as wonky as possible, because then it will look old. If you make them all perfect, it'll look like more of a newer house, I suppose. And obviously I wanted to show that this was clearly like an old cottage. But yeah, I will leave you with a little bit of music and I'll come back in a bit. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Alright, I'm back. So here I am just adding in the few finishing details for this piece. I really struggled with putting this garden together. I tried to the reference picture, I kind of stopped following it at this point for the garden, and I was just trying to figure out what shapes could slot together nicely. It takes a lot of trial and error, but get there eventually. Still part of me thinks, should I go back and add a few more flowers? But then another part of me is like, no, don't overcomplicate it. It looks nice as it is. And then I just added in like a few extra kind of paving stones at the bottom to imply a bit of a path. But I mean, that's not really in the reference picture. I just making it up at this point. And there comes a point in a collage where I just kind of stop looking at the reference picture completely and just start making decisions based on what looks good in the piece rather than trying to stay true to the reference picture. And I did that quite as soon as basically all the garden was made up. But yeah, I will do a little bit of a flick through all the collages I made in this video. So I made for the I keep forgetting the word, tools, the gardening tools collage, the house wall window collage, the boat collage and the harbour collage. I think I would rank it, I think the boat one's the best, followed by the harbour, followed by the tools, followed by the window. That's my personal opinion. Although I think my parents' favourite one is the harbour, and then my boyfriend's favourite one is the window one. So I guess everyone's got a different opinion. Right, I hope you've enjoyed this video, found it relaxing and enjoyed the little snippets from my holiday. Thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe, like, and if you want to ask me a question or anything, leave it in the comments. That's all from me. Goodbye.